is Katie Carson and I am the Duchess of Suds here at Royalty Soaps. This video is going live on a Monday, so you guys know what that means. It's a release day. The Royalty Soap shop will be opening up tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with all of the soaps we made in October. Hi. A phone. Thank you, my dear. For low top soaps, we have Harvest Moon, Mod for Men, and Hot Apple Pie. For high top soaps, we have Coffee House, Carrot Cake, S'mores Frappuccino, Gilded Pear, and Pumpkin Pecan Waffles. Lily is checking out her favorite soaps now. Oh, is that your favorite one? Coffee House. That's her favorite one. For those of you who are new and this will be your first time purchasing from us, be sure to set an alarm. That's right, for 8 p.m. because we sell out quickly. Today's soap making video is actually for hot chocolate soap, which is going to be released in December. It's not going to be available today. If you are following me on Instagram, I have two, one for Royalty Soaps. You'll get lots of updates there about new soapy creations, and sometimes I do polls there to ask you guys what you guys want to see like within the next, month or so, as far as videos are concerned. And then I also have my personal stuff for lots and lots of pictures of Lily and house updates and personal life updates and family and blah blah blah. This has been a long intro. If you've made it this far, you're a winner. So without further ado, let's make some soap. The first thing that I have to do is mix the lye water solution into the oils. I use two different recipes for soaps with frosting. The frosting is its own separate deal, and this is just for the bottom of the soap. I'm gonna pour the lye water solution down the stick blender. The recipe that I'm using will be available to you somewhere. Keep looking! And now using my stick blender or emulsion blender, I have tried to say that 4 times. I'm gonna blend this up on a high until we're just past emulsification. This soap is going to have 2 little accent colors near the top. We're gonna blend them all around with a hanger swirl tool. That ought to make it look pretty cool. Sort of like a butterfly swirl, but a little more varied. In the largest container, I am adding in some dark brown oxide just to level out the discoloration. This particular fragrance oil makes the soap very, very, very dark, and I just want to make sure that that darkness is, the same level all the way through the bar. And for the accent colors, I'm going to add in some white. I'm using half a tablespoon. That white has been mixed with some water. And the final color I'm using today is Aztec Gold from TKB Trading. Alternatively, you can use Maya Gold from Nurture Soap. This is going to represent caramel sauce. Alrighty, I'm going to mix up the colors and then we're going to add the fragrance oil. The fragrance oil we are using today is Hot Cocoa from Nature's Garden. I've smelled many a hot chocolate and hot cocoa fragrance in my time, and this one is the most accurate. Like I said though, it does discolor to almost black, and it speeds up trace just a teensy tiny bit. I'm only going to be adding fragrance oil to this bucket because I don't want these two to discolor at all. And I'm going to blend this in using my spatula, and it's funny, it turns the soap a little bit white, only to later on turn the soap very, very dark. But that smell is amazing. It has a very dark chocolate smell with some whipping cream, maybe a little half and half in there, some vanilla, some sugar, and really it smells warm. Like there's a lot of chocolate scents out there that just smell like chocolate cake or chocolate frosting or even just like a dark chocolate candy bar, but this, for some reason, they have added a hint in there that just makes it seem like it's warm. So that's really perfect if you're doing a hot cocoa drink soap. Fragrance oil being blended in, we can now start pouring into our molds and complete our design. I have my 2 Brambleberry molds here with their new liners that hold themselves up, very convenient. And I'm gonna pour almost all of the brown into the molds right off the bat. This is gonna help me keep the white and the caramel color closer to the top. Poured all that in. I'm not gonna scrape it yet. I'm gonna do the scraping a bit later on. So let's start with the caramel color. Just gonna pour down and up. Come over here, pour down and up. Go in with the white. pour down and up, and then up again. Pour down and up, and then up again. I'm gonna take my spatula and scrapey around the rim of this container. And then I'm gonna wiggle it down the soap like so. I'm gonna do the same for the white, which I hope will sort of represent some whipping cream, or like, you know, some squirted whipped cream on top. Just all the way down the soap like this. I'm gonna do the same for the other side, all the way down. Coming in with some brown, I'm gonna do the same technique that I just did. I've scrapeyed to make this possible. And now I'm gonna take my customizable bendy wire from Brambleberry, and I'm just gonna swirl all around, all different directions. Everything is still fluid enough that I can do this with ease. I'm going up and down and to the sides, and yeah, hopefully this makes a really cool pattern on the inside. Haven't had a problem with it in the past, so I'm gonna wipe off my swirling tool and we're gonna scrape out the containers. A lot of people have asked me how I am able to talk so much while doing intricate designs and making lots of bars and doing the piping and yada yada yada. And honestly, practice makes perfect. When I first started, I wasn't very good. It took all my concentration to just make the soap batch look good. Like, talking was not an option. And my first videos, which honestly aren't even available to view on YouTube anymore, that's how bad they are. I mumbled a lot. I didn't have a lot of good things to say. I said and like all the time. And that's just part of the learning curve. It's just part of the process. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but I don't know anybody who doesn't start there. So if you're wanting to start a YouTube channel, if you're doing a craft or any sort of YouTube channel, it's just something that you get used to as you go along. It becomes second nature. I'm also very comfortable because I feel like I'm just talking to a group of friends. All right, gonna come back in now with the caramel. This is a very pigmented caramel color, and I've made this soap so many times, I've definitely lost count, but I know it's more than 5. The very first year I put out a Christmas collection. The very first year I put out a Christmas collection, this soap was available, and then I've done like a million different variations on it. Sometimes I do white piping, sometimes I do brown piping, a few times I haven't done any piping, so it changes every single year. But it always has some sort of a marshmallow embed. That has not changed. Hey, I'm gonna swirl the top just for fun because it's still fluid enough to do so. I do this sometimes to get swirling practice in. And see, it would look awesome just having the top like this, even if you don't put any soap frosting on. Why am I so messy? Ooh. Cool, so I'm gonna set the soaps off to the side and we're gonna mix up the soap frosting. My soap frosting has set up, and you guys, does this not look like chocolate mousse? Using the Royalty Soaps piping set available at Nurture Soap and the large round tip, I'm gonna pipe from a different angle today. Normally I pipe straight up and down, but this time I'm pulling in. I'm doing this because I don't want to see any of the tips. I want it to be round and very, very bubbly, and for those to be piped over and well hidden. And it always takes me a couple of tries to get this right because there's only one other soap that I do this on. 10 points for those of you who have been around long enough to know which soap that is. And the key to getting it to poof out the right amount so that there's enough on each bar is to hold the piping bag slightly back and let the soap fill out around the nozzle. Then I gotta go down the middle a little bit. Fill all that empty spot in. Bye-bye, pretty design I did on the top there. Fill in that middle a little bit. I might have to do some touch-up piping on this one. I'm really out of practice for this type of shape. I'm gonna start on the second layer now. Just sort of glip-glopping it on there. I wonder how many comments I'm gonna get from people saying, that looks just like the poop emoji. So now I'm doing a snail trail on the top, mounding it up a little bit. And of course, the whole reason I'm doing this is to keep those points at a minimum. We're gonna have one there at the end, but that's okay because I have lots of embeds to put on, so any little bits that are still poking out can easily be covered up. I have a little bit left, so I'm gonna go across the top again to kind of mound up the center. All the piping is done, so I took half a teaspoon of mocha brown mica, and I'm gonna put that on top just to give it a little bit of a shimmer. And while it looks all pretty and glossy now, as the soap hardens up, it'll lose the sheen. So this will make it a little more sparkly still, help it retain some of the sparkle. With the mica dusting complete, it is time to add the marshmallow embeds. I made these using the Vanulay marshmallow embed mold. And there's going to be 3 little marshmallows on every single bar. It's obviously going to take me a little while to put them all in. I'll start with the ones on top first. And I wavered between putting white piping on top, but the marshmallows are barely visible when you do that. So I just essentially mounded up the cocoa part. And then we will also be putting a little bit of a caramel drizzle on top to sort of tie it all together. I feel like I say this every year, but I really like the design the best this year. And anywhere the piping breaks is no big deal because I'll be using the melt and pour or glycerin soap caramel drizzle on top to fill in those gaps. It's also really cool that spritzing the top with rubbing alcohol will completely change the way that the mica looks. Like right now it looks kind of powdery and kind of dusty, but once you spritz it and lock it in, it looks a lot more shiny. It's funny, every time I think of the caramel sauce, I can hear my little sister Pollyanna. Thank you all, by the way, for all the comments and just the overwhelming amount of support from my family during this time. For those who are new around here, my little sister Pollyanna, who is 5, got diagnosed with leukemia at the beginning of 2018, so in January. And this community has supported us so well. We've really felt lifted up by your thoughts and prayers and good vibes and all that sort of stuff. And for those of y'all who have messaged my mom on Instagram and all that, we just, man, it has made a world of difference. It helped us stay strong, help us keep a smile on our face. If you want to keep up with Pollyanna's journey on like a more weekly basis, you can go to caringbridge.com and type in Team Pollyanna. She will be showing up there. Long explanations short, she has to take a lot of different types of medicine. And one of the things she's on right now, I believe she's technically in remission. I mean, like, hallelujah, in remission. Such an achievement. But one of the drugs makes her hungry all the time. Like, she's just ravenous. And her favorite thing to eat is spaghetti. But she doesn't really know how to say spaghetti. My little sister also has Down syndrome, so speech is something that's a little harder for her to do, especially at the age of 5. So all she really knows how to say is sauce, like spaghetti sauce. So she walks around the whole house most of the day and will tug on my mom and be like, "Mama," and my mom will say, "What?" And she'll say, "Sauce." So anytime I hear that word for any other reason, even if it's not spaghetti sauce, like caramel sauce, all I can hear is Pollyanna going, "Sauce, sauce," all day long. The kid has literally eaten spaghetti for breakfast. Whoo-wee, all the marshmallows are in, so let's go get the caramel drizzle, or the caramel sauce. I've zoomed you guys in a little so you can see the drizzling. I mixed some Aztec Gold mica with melt and pour. Oh yes, oh yeah, this is good stuff. And I don't want to do too much, but I do want to make sure that every bar has a little bit. And I'm also filling in the little cracks here. come on over to this side. Once again, just filling in the gaps on any of those soaps that maybe got displaced a little. Caramel drizzle done. Let's spritz with rubbing alcohol. Maybe you guys can see the difference in the way the mica looks. Wow, you guys. I want to lick it. And I can smell the hot chocolate fragrance coming up through the soap frosting. It's so good. So I'm gonna let these sit for 18 to 24 hours and then we will come back and shop them into bars and take a peep at the inside. We are back the next day to cut the hot chocolate soap. I've already gotten it on my hands. And that mica powder has been sealed in pretty well. It looks so shiny and delicious on top. So I'm gonna line this up. I'm actually gonna turn this on the side to cut it just because those embeds are so tall. Okay, I'm gonna press down rather firmly. Okay, I'm gonna take out a middle piece. And this is what it looks like on the inside. The full discoloration has not taken place yet, so the top and the bottom are still two different shades of chocolate, but the swirliness of the white and the caramel are coming through very stark, which is great. And then of course on top, we have all three of the marshmallows. We have our caramel drizzle and of course our fudgy chocolate brown. This one has been sitting for about 12 hours. And this one right here is the one that we just cut. So you can see even 12 hours doesn't make that great a difference. It'll take about a week. Gosh darn, that smell is fantastic though. So warm, so chocolatey. The question of the day is, which warm winter beverage do you prefer? Apple cider or hot chocolate? Me personally, I'm still going for that hot chocolate. I like to put freshly whipped cream on top and then a few sprinkles, and man, that's just hard for me to beat. But I still love apple cider too. Like, that gives me a lot of nostalgia. It makes me feel like home, so tough choice, but I'm probably still gonna go with the chocolate. And for those of you who like white chocolate or vanilla, there's actually something called white hot chocolate, which is basically, you know, just a bunch of white chocolate and, you know, sugar. They have it at lots of different places. Caleb and I get it every year because that is his favorite beverage. He also really likes eggnog. Like, I mean, really likes it. It was October and it was like the second week in October and all the stores are getting ready for the holiday season, and Caleb saw eggnog and was like, I'm getting it. And I said, don't you want to wait till it's like a little more festive? And he was like, no. Eggnog waits for no one. And every single one of these bars will be unique and individual, and all the swirls will be singular to that bar, and that's cool. They are such special little snowflakes. I hope you guys enjoyed today's soap making video. Lily's been a little grouchy today, haven't ya? Yes. I think she might possibly have a little stomach bug or something, so you guys be wishing her well. For those of y'all who are interested, just a quick reminder again, tonight is the soap release. And if you're not interested, I'm just delighted you're here watching a soap making video. I never want anyone to feel pressured to buy my soaps. That's not what this is about. However, if I don't tell people over and over and over again, they seem to forget, and then they get stressed out, and then they're messaging me going, when is your soaps available? So it's a lot better for me to just do a quick blast here in one of the videos. And again, if you're just here to watch art, I'm so thankful for you. Thanks for being here. Well, that's about it until Wednesday. So for those of us here at Royalty Soaps, I bid you a very fond farewell. Make sure you do something for yourself today, whether that is going to Target to pick out some Christmas wreaths from the new Joanna Gaines collection, or just actually doing a meal plan because you kind of suck at that. Either way, do something that makes you happy, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now. You want to wave bye-bye? Wave bye-bye. There we go. Yeah.